Prior to the 20th century, disease was a threat that was often more terrifying than war, sweeping through defenseless people who didn't have a way to stop it. In 1881, a man by the name of Alexander Fleming would be born into this world plagued by illness. Upon graduating from St. Mary's in 1906, he would put immense effort and dedication into the medical department as he sought therapies to fight disease. In the midst of searching for a cure for influenza in 1928, however, he discovered the miracle compound of dreams. Penicillin, the holy grail of medicine, and the first of what would be many life-saving antibiotic drugs, was discovered, and with the drug-perfecting talent of Howard Florey and Ernst Boris Chain, a giant barrier in medical history was broken. They'd be commended greatly for this drug, and would even be awarded the Nobel Prize. Not only did they better hospitals with penicillin by saving millions, but it also paved the way for medical technology to revolutionize what it is today, and indirectly save millions more. The 20th century was a very plague-stricken time to live in. While the world may have been accelerating industrially, the medical field was in dystopia. Diseases were horrifyingly easy to catch. Tripping into a bush and getting cut could be the difference between life and death. The average life expectancy was 47 years at the time. These infectious diseases had a mortality rate of 797 per 100,000. To compare, cancer kills 152 per 100,000 in the US in 2017. Many of the treatments to diseases often lack scientific basis, and often even worsen the conditions of patients. Doctors, on occasion, would prescribe their patients dangerous chemicals such as mercury and arsenic. These horrendous inadequacies would all change with the discovery of the drug penicillin, something that would flip the medical world on its side. On August 8, 1881, a Scottish boy named Alexander Fleming was born into this tainted world. Upon turning 13, his father's death would force him to move in with his brother in London. As he aged, he would ultimately end up enrolling in St. Mary's Hospital and Medical School, graduating in 1906. As the threat of World War I arrived, Fleming enrolled in the Army and would serve as a captain of the Army Medical Corps. Here, he would get first-hand experience with serious treatment of patients and overall experience in the medical field. Upon the war's end in 1918, he would return to his lab at St. Mary's and would begin to study antibacterial substances. In 3 years, 1921, he discovered the enzyme lysozyme, found in saliva and tears. This discovery was the highlight of his medical career until he would make the discovery of a lifetime. In 1928, upon leaving for a trip, Fleming left his lab rather dirty. Upon return, he began to clean it, but in the midst of cleaning his petri dishes, one near a window caught his eye. Upon further observation, he noticed that the Staphylococcus culture, a type of bacteria that had grown on the petri dish, was now developing near a mold. Intrigued, he would continue observing the spectacle and give it the name penicillin. Alexander Fleming saw the medical potential the product had, but as he was inexperienced as a chemist, he was only able to publish his finding. This discovery would resurface a decade later in the hands of two curious chemists.
After Fleming's discovery of penicillin, the baton will be passed to the Oxford University chemists Howard Florey and Ernest Chain. They both had their own individual experiences as chemists, and after Florey reached out to Chain, the two would start to research varieties of organisms. Eventually, the two would research snake venom, which led them delving further into the research of enzymes that break down other substances. During their enzyme research, they happened upon lysosome and became curious in it. As their findings expanded, they would notice Fleming's publishings on penicillin and would begin to dedicate research on it. The two put together a team of researchers and scientists, and after a year of testing enzymes with penicillin, they found it contained extraordinary medical properties. Through a process of freeze-drying the product repeatedly, they were able to concentrate and diffuse penicillin. However, the process was slow and inefficient. As a result, the team first had to find a more efficient way for the concentration and diffusion of penicillin. The slow process was improved upon by another researcher, Norman Heatley, who suggested transferring the active ingredients of penicillin back into water by changing its acidity, thus purifying the penicillin. They tested the penicillin by administering doses into mice to see if it would heal the sick mice. To their excitement, the mice's illness were cured. Penicillin would be first used on a human in 1941. when Ann Miller was successfully treated with penicillin. She was diagnosed with septicemia, a type of blood poisoning that left her in a near-death state. Miller's doctor used a tablespoon of penicillin, and a few weeks after treatment, Miller was back to a normal state, and her life was saved. Penicillin had massive changes to the world and was considered to be the miracle drug of its time. When the Army Medical Corps realized how the drug could be used in World War II, the Corps asked for more to be produced to help in the war effort. It was put to use in World War II military hospitals and saved countless patients and soldiers. By May of 1944, there was enough penicillin for civilian use, and doctors began prescribing penicillin to their patients. In 1945, Fleming, Florey, and Chain would share a Nobel Prize in medicine. Penicillin would save the lives of millions as it continues to be used in hospitals around the world. Penicillin not only affected the lives of many shortly after its creation, but it also continues to save lives today, indirectly or not. The creation of penicillin launched the antibiotic age that led to the creation of other types of antibiotics that would kill a variety of bacteria harmful to the human body. This would be important as penicillin could only cure a few types of bacteria, but not other types. Thus, it was important for other antibiotics to be created based on penicillin to counter more types of diseases than penicillin. Almost any illness or disease in modern times has a treatment or cure, many of those treatments being the various types of antibiotics available for medical practitioners to use. Throughout the work of various researchers and scientists such as Alexander Fleming, Howard Florey, and Ernest Chain, penicillin became a drug that advanced the medical world and forever changed how practitioners treated their patients. Without penicillin, other medicines and treatments would never have been created, such as the numerous types of antibiotics that exist today. Currently, there are over 100 types of antibiotics in the modern world of medicine, and without them, who knows how primitive or ineffective our medicine would be. Truly, penicillin was a discovery that broke the barriers of the medical world through the tremendous advancements of treatments and medicine that it caused.